Lovely. Well, I'm so happy that you all are here. I know there were tons of people that need the replay, so I've got it recording, and you all will get the replay as well in case you want to go back and rewatch anything. You're also free to take screenshots of anything you see on the screen. And if you want my slides, you can put slides in the notes and I'll send the slides over to you as well. So I want to make sure you get everything you need. And I'm going to talk fairly quickly so that I can get you in and out in about an hour. But I do get very passionate about gut health. And so, I can go off on little tangents. So I'm going to try and keep very focused today. So I will go ahead and get started so we can be mindful of the time. I'm going to share my screen. So let's just make sure everybody can. Oh, that is not correct. When I tested it, it worked just fine. Oh, there we go. Can everybody see that screen?
Yes.
Lovely. Okay, so we're in the From Bloat to Bliss Ultimate Gut Health Blueprint for Women Over 40. So it's not to say that this doesn't work for people of any age. In fact, I work with children and teenagers and men and all kinds of people. That being said, women over 40 just need a little bit different of a plan, right? We have different hormones. Women are not small men. We need different different treatment than men do and honestly than what we did when we were younger as well. So I sort of came to focus on women over 40 as I started to realize that our bodies really do change and we really do need sort of specialized plan. And as a woman over 40 myself, I have come to realize that the medical system is not really educated on what we women in this age group need. So I really wanted to highlight that we are different and that's okay. We're here to grow humans in our bodies, so that's why our bodies are so unique. So you know that you are in the right place. You can let me know if any of these sound familiar. Do you have mysterious symptoms that doctors can't figure out?
Yes.
You can say yes in the comments if that resonates with you. I know it did for me for many, many years. Do you react to certain foods? Do you get heartburn? Do you get bloated? Does your skin break out in a rash? What are what are the things that happen when you eat certain foods? And, do you keep cutting out foods because you don't have any idea what you're reacting to? So you just keep cutting and cutting and cutting.
Hmm.
Do you have too many or too few bowel movements? Like the ideal, and I didn't know this for the longest time, but the ideal is 1 to 3 bowel movements a day that are snake-like. And so if you don't have 1 to 3 snake-like bowel movements a day, then there's just something off in the gut microbiome probably. But that's the goal, right? That's the end goal. Do you feel anxious or have trouble sleeping? This really tends to be a common thing amongst women our age. Do you have extra stubborn weight or belly fat that just seems to come on and you don't really know why? And you can do the same things that you did in your 20s and you can't get rid of this extra weight. Do you worry about your health and your future? Right? Do you worry that if we don't address these things right now, maybe they're going to get worse? Do you worry you won't be able to do the things that you want to do in your future? Do you feel tired and frustrated most of the time? I totally feel that. I felt like that for many, many, many years. And do you wish you just had a plan that works? Like, tell me in the comments, does it sound good to just have a plan that works? How many things that we keep
Yes,
trying,
absolutely.
Yeah.
trying, and trying?
Okay, I gotta go speaking now.
So this
Okay.
might look familiar. You probably have gone to doctors. You've probably gotten tests from different doctors. You've probably taken different prescriptions. Maybe the doctor said just eat more fiber. Maybe they said drink more water, take some over-the-counter meds. And the problem is that these are the band-aids, and this is what most people are doing, right? Because this is the common advice. But the problem is that none of these things actually do anything to heal the damage that has already been done. These are covering up your problems, but the problems underneath are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So, underneath the surface, when we really dig down deep, these are what we need to look at. And this is really, you know, whoop, this these are the real root causes. And this is what conventional medicine misses. They don't look at bacterial imbalances. They don't look at nutrient deficiency. They're not even taught nutrition in school. They don't look at, trauma, emotional, mental, physical. So these are the things that we really need to be looking at. And I call these root causes, but they're not even the root. We need to even go deeper than these to really find the root. So, who am I? I know most of you know me here, but if you have not met me before, I am Marissa Hughes. I'm a certified transformational nutrition coach, and I spent 30 years searching for answers for my own gut issues. I had gut issues since I was born, and I decided to go to school to learn how to teach other women to feel how I feel now, which is the best I've ever felt in my life. So, I help women over 40 uncover the root causes of bloating, reflux, constipation, food sensitivities, all the good things, using advanced microbiome testing. And I have a structured gut healing process. So, you know, I started my gut health journey at birth. I had colic. I was crying nonstop for months. I can't believe my mom didn't give me away at some point. And it really kept going from then. I always felt nauseous. I always felt like I was going to throw up. And I had, all the issues that go along with all of that. So I'm now on a mission to help women take back the power over their own health. Like, we need to stop giving away the power to our doctors because our doctors aren't really schooled in how to do this, right? So that is why I am here, because this is how I felt from birth into my 30s. Oops, I did it again. I felt bloated. I had massive, terrible acne. Like, there were some days I didn't even want to leave the house. I was constipated. Again, I had no idea you were supposed to poop every single day. Like, so many people don't. I've had clients tell me that their doctor says it's okay to only poop twice a week. And I'm here to tell you it's not. I never slept through the night ever. I had massive anxiety. I went to therapy. I got on an antidepressant. I tried acupuncture. I tried meditation. I tried all the things for my anxiety. I was always, always, always nauseous. I always felt like I was going to throw up. I kept gaining weight, and it was really, really hard to be a mom and a business owner. I was a single mom. I owned a restaurant, and I was struggling. So until I figured out what was going on with my own gut, 20 years later now, I am in a good mood every day, which is like for me, it's the best difference in all of these symptoms. Being in a good mood just changes your whole life. I have food freedom. I can eat things that I want to eat. I choose to eat foods that are really supportive of my gut. But if I want to, I can eat all kinds of things that I could never eat before. So food freedom is what the ultimate goal is, right? Your digestion should be able to work with any kind of food. Regular bowels, like the joy and the pleasure from having just the perfect bowel movement is like the best thing in the world. My best friend and I almost send pictures to each other, but we don't because it'd probably be gross. But we are pretty proud of ourselves. Flat belly, like not in a weight sense, but in a not bloated sense. Like, that feeling when you eat and then your belly just blows up, like not having that feeling is amazing. Energy, the energy that I feel is incredible. Like, I've never felt before, even in my 20s. And I'm a better mom, I'm a better wife, I'm a better friend, I'm a better everything because I'm not so focused on how sick I feel all the time. And I'm hopeful for the future. Now I can picture going and doing things in my 80s and 90s that I never even thought about before. But now I want to be able to walk around Italy and drink wine and do all that until my very, very, very last days, which I will be able to do. So, after all the years of working with women, learning about gut issues, learning about what helps gut issues, and really, really learning as much as I possibly could, reading all the books, going to school, getting certifications, I have really figured out that building your health home is based on four pillars, right? We can't just I call it the throw pillows. We can't just buy all the throw pillows, like something you saw on Instagram or trying this diet. Those are all the throw pillows. None of those things will work if we don't build our health home. Like you wouldn't just go out and buy throw pillows before building your house, right? You would build your house. So these are the four things that it takes to build your health home. Mind body connection. I'm sure you've heard that a lot and maybe don't really know what it is. We're going to talk about it. Nourishment. Only 1 in 10 Americans gets enough nutrition from their food. 1 in 10 Americans. That's a really scary number because you can't build health without your nutrients. Gut restoration. We have to not only remove what is bothering our gut, but we have to rebuild what is missing. We have to restore the gut from the ground up. And then our lifestyle. We need to have lifestyle rhythms. We need to support our bodies in all these different ways that we just don't talk about enough in our society. And these four pillars is how you build a happy belly. So even if one pillar is depleted, your house is going to crumble. We need all four of these pillars to be strong. We need them all to be built up so that your house, your health home can withstand anything. And that way, if you go on vacation or you do get some kind of sickness, your body is so strong, it can weather all the storms. But even if one of these pillars is low, your house can crumble. And so what we're going to cover today is with each of these pillars, we're going to cover the problem in each pillar, the happy belly plan for each pillar, and then we'll do a little self-assessment. And so I want you to walk away knowing where your blind spots are. Like what part of this house building do you need to work on? And sometimes we just really don't know. And just having the awareness is huge. Like, okay, now I know exactly where to go from here. So if you have little post-it notes or a piece of paper or whatever, you can score yourself. We're going to just do a quick little self-assessment. So number one, mind-body connection. That first pillar, and by the way, in order of the pillars, that used to be my fourth. And now, after all that I've learned over all these years, it is the first. We need this mind-body connection to be strong for anything else in the program to work. So the vagus nerve connects our gut and our brain. We have to talk back and forth between our gut and our brain bi-directionally. So they have to be able to talk back and forth. But the problem is that we can have dysfunction with this nerve. It can happen from trauma, being in constant fight or flight, so constant stress, even if it's a low level of stress. There could be dysbiosis of the gut. Maybe you're not producing the neurotransmitters, the messengers that send the messages back and forth because we're lacking gut bacteria. There's a lot of dysfunction that can happen in the vagus nerve. We need intentional practices to regulate this communication. But the problem is a lot of people see these as woo-woo. They don't think it's real when we talk about breath work or meditation or the words that we speak to ourselves, mantras, affirmations, things like that. People see it as woo-woo, but everything that I do is based on science. These things are not woo-woo, but our society, our medical system has fooled us into thinking that they are woo-woo so that we go back to the medical system, right? And then there's just too many processed foods, just not enough real food. And especially with our kids are not eating real food. So this hinders the whole communication process. We need real food. We need real nutrients for everything in the body to work properly. So the happy belly plan with the mind-body connection is to create a routine and a rhythm that the nervous system thrives on. We need to support the nervous system, and our nervous system loves rhythm. So especially women, our bodies are meant to be in a rhythm. So creating that rhythm that the body knows what to expect. Utilizing breathing practices to calm and regulate the system. So most people are breathing up here in the neck really shallow and really sort of quickly. Teaching the body to breathe in the proper way will get your body out of that fight or flight state. So a lot of people are just living in fight or flight, and the digestion shuts down in fight or flight. So using breathing practices to calm the system and get into that rest and digest place is so, so important. We've got to address old emotions that we might be holding on to physically in our body. So when we have something happen and the emotion is too strong for us to deal with it, we can store it away somewhere in our body and deal with it later. So, addressing those old emotions and being able to release and let go is such an important piece. And we also need to discover what bacteria, like, yes, this is, mind body. We're talking about emotions here, but we need to discover the bacteria that need to be replenished because we need bacteria to create the messengers that talk back and forth. We've got to get deep sleep. And this is so lacking in so many people's lives today that people just are not sleeping well. And if we don't sleep, we cannot recover. Your brain does a whole cleansing process in the night called glymphatic cleansing. If we don't do that, there's going to be a lot of dysfunction there. And then we've got to move the body, and we have to do it in a non stressful, supportive way, something that supports the nervous system and doesn't activate it too much. So now we'll do the little self-assessment from 1 to 4. There's 4 questions. So 1 is like, nah, I'm not really so great at that at the moment. 4 is like, yes, I kick ass at that. I'm really on top of it. Okay, so I have a consistent daily self-care practice that supports my nervous system. From 1 to 4, how do you feel about that? 1 is like, I don't think I really do that. And 4 is like, yep, every day I've got it. I get the appropriate amount of deep sleep to support my system. 1 to 4. How do you feel about your sleep? Little known fact, women need more sleep than men. So women need really more closer to like 9 hours of sleep. And we're talking deep sleep, right? I have addressed old emotions or trauma that I may be holding on to in my body, or you have a way that you are doing that. And I know the bacteria in my gut are making those neurotransmitters I need to calm my brain. This is something we see on gut tests. There's specific bacteria that make the neurotransmitters. If you don't have that bacteria and you're not making the neurotransmitters, there's going to be some dysfunction. There's probably going to be anxiety. There's probably going to be insomnia, right? Like there's going to be some dysfunction. So the bacteria is such a huge part. Okay, pillar number 2. And feel free if you want to put your score in the chat. 1 to 4. So what's the total there? 16 total for each pillar. So only 1 in 10 Americans, I said this, gets the minimum suggested amount of vitamins and minerals, just the minimum that the government wants us to have. Like the minimum is, do you want the minimum amount of health or do you want the optimum amount of health? Like I want you to have the optimum amount. This is a really scary number. The other part is our soil is now severely depleted because farmers are monocropping. They're not rotating their crops. They don't have ruminant animals that are fertilizing. They're using tons of chemicals, tons of pesticides. So our soil, we are only as healthy as our soil. If our soil is depleted, the food doesn't have the nutrients in it. So we think we're being all healthy because we're eating our apples and our carrots, but those apples and carrots only have 40% of the nutrients they used to have when our grandparents were eating them. And then we're eating way too many food-like substances. So foods that are not real foods, right? They're ultra processed foods, and our body doesn't recognize them anymore. And we're getting no nutrient value from them. And unfortunately, these are the easiest foods to get and to eat. And then if you have leaky gut, if you have any damage to the gut lining, then we're not absorbing. So even though we are eating what we think we should be eating, the soil's depleted, so it's really depleted, and then our gut is depleted, and so it's not absorbing all the nutrients from the food. So it's kind of, a 3-part system all the way down, which equals we are not nourished, and we have to make the cells of our body from the food we eat. We need all these nutrients to build our bodies. So this is a scary thing. So the Happy Belly plan to get nourishment is to look at your unique digestive blueprint on your gut microbiome and make sure that you know what foods you want to add more of and maybe what are not best for your particular gut. And I'm not saying avoid them forever, but like let's talk about what the foods are that are going to give you the most benefit and then maybe the ones that aren't doing you any favors. And then tracking your food intake. Make sure you're getting enough protein, fiber, healthy fats, micronutrients. Until I started tracking my food, I didn't realize I was under eating by quite a bit and had to add quite a bit of food into my diet, but I didn't know that until I started tracking. And then we need to strengthen the gut lining so that we can start absorbing the nutrients. Because if we're not absorbing the nutrients, the food's going in and then it's just going back out, right? So we need to be absorbing it. So important. And then we need to get easily absorbable foods into the body, like foods that your gut can easily break down and absorb. Because when your gut isn't quite working at full speed, we don't want to be putting a bunch of foods in that are hard to digest. You want to put easy to digest foods in there that give you the most nutrition out of it. So, self assessment again, 1 to 4, like, nah, or yes, I'm awesome. So, do I know what my unique digestive blueprint is? Have I tested? Do I know what's going on in my gut? It's so crazy to me that you go to the doctor with gut issues, but they don't look at what's going on inside your gut. They might do a colonoscopy, but that's looking for one thing, right? It's not actually seeing what the function is in your gut. So, do you know what your digestive blueprint is? We each have a digestive blueprint that is as unique as our fingerprint. So, we need to know what that is. Have I tracked my intake? Do I know for sure I'm getting optimum amounts of what I need? So without tracking, there's really no way to know for sure. Even if you think you're getting it, we really need to track to make sure. Am I eating the food that's been proven easiest to digest so my body doesn't have to work so hard? It'd be like if you're, if your kid is struggling to get up the stairs and then you just handed them a big boulder, right? That's what people are doing with their gut. Like their gut isn't quite working up to full speed, and then we're just putting all these foods in that are so hard to digest and making it work really hard. And then is my gut lining strong and am I able to absorb the nutrients I'm eating? Like this is such a big piece. Is my gut lining strong? 1 to 4. Okay, so pillar number 3 is gut restoration. So our gut microbiome is supposed to be about 100 trillion bacteria, and it is essential for just about every process in the body. Let me see. Can I see the chat? Okay, I'm seeing it now. So when it gets depleted, this is when we see a whole cascade of negative issues arise. So this is really on your gut test. We can see exactly what bacteria you have and what ones are missing. And it all correlates with something. Like it's never a mystery of why someone has an imbalance in their gut. We can always relate it back to something. So, C-section birth or not being breastfed, it can go all the way back to birth. It can go all the way back to antibiotics, even as a baby or a small child. So, if you had a lot of ear infections, sinus infections, a lot of kids get it for acne or yeast infections, right? Every round of antibiotics we take is going to alter our microbiome. Chemicals in our water and our food, right? This is a problem our grandparents didn't have. Like just our food and water is altering our microbiome. Glyphosate is the main ingredient in Roundup, and you may have seen it in the news lately. Glyphosate is not going anywhere. It is a major, major, major problem for the gut. It acts as an antibiotic in the gut. So the fact that it's on almost all of our food now means we need to have a plan in place to detox it. Stress is overlooked big time. Stress, your gut microbiome knows when you're stressed and it knows when you're relaxed and it acts accordingly. Too much sugar, the the pathogenic bacteria that live in the gut thrive on sugar. So the more sugar, right? And I'm not talking about fruit, I'm talking about candy, cookies, pastries, right? The more you're going to feed the pathogenic bacteria in the gut. Lack of sleep, your gut microbiome lives on your same circadian rhythm. They need sleep, right? So whenever we're not sleeping, we are killing off our good microbes. And then just lack of fresh foods, eating those ultra processed foods. We want to do the perimeter of the grocery store, right? Like everything in the middle almost is not even real food anymore. And that's really, the cheapest, easiest food to grab. So the Happy Belly plan for gut restoration is to utilize the gut microbiome testing, which is not the test your doctors use. When your doctors do a stool test, they're really looking for like one thing, like E. coli or something. This is a comprehensive test that I use to see exactly what's going on in your gut. So I work with the lab to create a personalized protocol based on your results, not based on anything else except for what we see on your test. So we don't do just blanket statements of what everyone should be doing. Implement a plan to weed your gut garden. So if you think about your gut as a garden, you wouldn't go in and just plant a bunch of beautiful flowers amongst all these crazy weeds, right? Your gut is the same way. We need to weed out what is overgrown that shouldn't be there. And then we implement targeted foods, probiotics, behaviors, supplements to bring back the bacteria that you are missing. So, self assessment on gut restoration 1 to 4. Have I completed the appropriate testing so I know exactly what my gut needs to heal? Because anything else really is just a guess. Your doctors are guessing. Anyone who doesn't test is guessing. And so you could be throwing ideas at a wall to see if they stick. Try this, try that. If it doesn't work, try this, try that, right? Do I have a personalized plan just for me? I can't tell you how many times I see something on YouTube or Instagram and it's like, here, buy this gut healing plan for $27. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it could be completely different for every single person that buys that plan. So I would never do a blanket statement that everybody would benefit from a certain thing because it's just not true. So we need a personalized plan. Do I know if I have any pathogens that I need to get rid of and how to get rid of them? Like we have all kinds of little guys that come in and out of our bodies and they can live in our bodies in small amounts, but if they start to overgrow, like if you think of your gut like a parking lot, you want all the parking spaces in your body to be taken up with good bacteria because they do a lot of jobs for you. If the good bacteria starts to leave the parking spaces open, then the pathogenic bacteria can come in and start to take up those parking spots. Now, these guys cause inflammation. They cause, all kinds of gut disruptions. They cause cravings. They cause brain fog, right? So we want to get these guys out of their parking spaces and refill those parking spaces with the good guys. And do I know exactly what bacteria I need to feed to balance my gut? We want to feed these particular bacteria specific foods that they love to eat. So we can see on your gut, if you're totally missing this one strain of bacteria, we now know what foods to put in your plan because it feeds that strain of bacteria. And our last pillar, lifestyle rhythms. So the problem here is that we are surrounded by a stressful environment, right? Surrounded. We were never meant to know what was going on in every part of the world and with all of our friends and all of our family and all of our acquaintances and right, everything that is going on in the world we now know about because we have this computer in the palms of our hands and it's stressful, right? Not only that, but there's a lot of things going on in our medical system and our food system and in our school system and right, there's just a lot that we need to deal with. We can't take away the stress, but we how we handle it is what matters. So we also, as a part of our lifestyle rhythms, we need to be detoxing what we eat, what we breathe, what we put on our skin, the medications that we take, and also our emotions. And some people aren't really thinking about making sure that you're detoxing what comes in and on and around our bodies on a daily basis. We need deep restorative sleep for true healing. And yes, I know I put this on here twice. It was also in the first pillar because it's that important. Like we need 8.5 to 9 hours of deep sleep so that our body can do all the processes it needs to do. It can't do anything during the day because it's busy keeping us alive, right? So in our sleep is when we get rid of old dead cells and we make new cells, right? Our gut lining, we're making new gut lining all the time, but we can only do it in our sleep, right? That brain cleansing, our detoxification, all these processes need to happen in deep sleep. And we need to be moving the body, right? A lot of people are just sitting all day long. We need to move our body in appropriate ways for our sex and our age. Like there are some exercises that are not appropriate for women in perimenopause or menopause. So we need to do it in an appropriate way that is good for our nervous system and the way our bodies work. We need to work with our delicate female system, right? We're always kind of constantly fighting it. Like we got to go through the periods and we got to go through the menopause and we got to go through, blah, 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 blah. But if we learn to work with it and learn how to manage it and create a rhythm that works for our hormones and not against them, then all of this it's not like it has to be all this suffering to be a woman. It can actually be a lot more fun than we are making it out to be, but we have just always been fighting our bodies. So the Happy Belly plan for lifestyle rhythms is incorporate proper movement practices for digestion and for stress management. So proper movement for women over 40 is totally different than it is for men or women, say, in their 20s. Support and open your drainage pathways. So we need to be breathing properly, peeing and pooping properly, so that we're preventing the recirculation of toxins through our body. If we have toxins in our body and we don't stop putting them in the body and stop circulating them, our body is always going to be fighting these toxins. We need to make sure we get the deepest sleep possible. Can't say it enough. And then we need to support the female hormones with the right daily and monthly rhythms. So there is a rhythm to our cycle, even when you're in menopause, that our bodies will thrive on. But we are just never taught this stuff. So pillar number 4 is self-assessment. Do I walk daily and get whole body movement 3 days a week? So moving the body in some way that is really supportive to the system. Like women over 40 shouldn't be doing a ton of HIIT workouts. HIIT workouts are going to raise your cortisol, put you in fight or flight, and really be pretty dysfunctional for the nervous system. So workouts that are appropriate for our age. Have I made sure my drainage pathways are open for proper and safe detox? Our detox process in our body works really well, but we have to support it, right? Our body is amazing, but if it's getting overloaded, if our toxin bucket gets overloaded and we aren't emptying it, the toxins spill out, and now we have to store the toxins in our fat cells. This is why a lot of times we can't release fat, because we're storing toxins in the fat cells. The body's always trying to keep you alive, very intelligent. That's why it's storing those toxins. Do I get enough deep sleep to make sure my body can do all of its restorative processes? And do I know how my hormones affect my gut? And do I have a plan to support them? So I really encourage women to get their hormones tested and find somebody who is trained and knows how to deal with hormones. Okay, so your happy belly gut score. If you add them all up, 16 to 29, the gut is in distress. So at this level, your body is probably sending pretty strong signals. So the gut often needs targeted repair and rebuilding, not just diet changes. 30 to 41, the gut might be struggling here. At this stage, the gut microbiome is often significantly out of balance. Digestion isn't functioning optimally. 42 to 52 is a sensitive gut. Your gut may be mostly functional, but certain things can maybe throw it off. There might just be a little imbalance happening that, we can see on a gut test and get you back up to the happy belly. 53 to 64. So your gut is probably functioning beautifully, and your goal is just simply fine-tuning what's already working. So most of the women who come into the happy belly method are in the distressed gut category. And the reason they stay stuck there is usually because no one has actually looked inside the gut to see what's going on. Like I said, this is amazing to me that our medical system doesn't look inside. It just guesses to figure out what's going on. And then even those guesses usually lead to prescriptions that are the Band-Aids, right? So here are the cheap, easy fixes that don't actually fix anything. This is what everyone is doing. Like I have phone calls with women all the time, and I listen to their stories. And after I've had hundreds of these phone calls, I know what everyone is doing. This is what everyone is doing. Cutting gluten, which is fine, but just doing that and expecting the damage to be repaired is not working. Taking a random probiotic, pretty much throwing money in the garbage, because if you don't test and you don't know what bacteria you need, you might be taking a complete wrong probiotic, and the ones from the grocery store, I mean, the efficacy of those is probably very, very low. Drinking bone broth. I hear a lot of people that are like, oh, if you just have bone broth every day, you're going to heal your gut. It's about much more than that. Doing an elimination diet, always taking away, taking away, taking away, but just taking away. So, say your house has a leaky pipe and your house is flooding, just turning off the water is going to stop the flooding, but that hasn't fixed anything. That's what an elimination diet is. It's taking away, but it's not fixing. So buying gut repair supplements off Instagram, and listen, I am totally guilty of this, but I've already built my health home, right? So now I'm trying all the throw pillows. These are the throw pillows, those supplements that you see on Instagram. Like I get people all the time. They're like, "Can you take a look at this and see if it's a good supplement?" I'm like, "It might be, but I don't know what is going on in your gut, so I can't tell you if this is good or not." And the ingredients are not guaranteed. Detox teas, quick cleanses. This is something that I did a lot back in the day. Like I would see some kind of cleanse and buy it and do it and wonder why I didn't feel better. It's not repairing anything. Cutting more and more foods, right? All the time, adding to the list of foods you can't eat, can't eat, can't eat, can't eat. Sometimes I have clients come to me and their list of foods they can eat is about 5, and then everything else is off. That is not a good way to live your life. Ignoring stress. This is what women do. They ignore stress because they go, I have to deal with these things. I have no choice. Waiting for a diagnosis, right? I've been to my doctor, I'm doing these tests, then I went to the specialist, I did another test, and I'm just waiting for the doctor to give me a diagnosis, but it's probably going to be IBS, and IBS is a diagnosis that means you have this group of symptoms, but we don't know what caused it and we don't know how to fix it. Or trying to do it yourself without any kind of structure, right? This is what people are doing because this is all they know, right? They are watching Instagram, watching YouTube videos, talking to the doctor that doesn't help. Like this is what people are doing because this is all they know. These aren't bad ideas, they're just incomplete. So, the root causes of digestive distress. Did it again. Okay, so we've got a lot of root causes here. So, early life factors, C-section birth, formula feeding, not breastfed, antibiotic exposure, right? Strep infections, too much over sanitization. There's all kinds of stuff that can happen as a baby. So, you could be having gut issues because of something that happened to you as a baby. So, it's not your fault. We just need to learn what it is so that we can go about addressing it. Digestive dysfunction, low stomach acid, maybe you're not making enough enzymes, etc. Right? Medications, how many medications have we all been on in our lifetime? We've taken lots of ibuprofen. Some of us have been on PPIs for 20 years. There could have been birth control, there can be laxatives, there can be anxiety meds, right? The list goes on. All of this is going to affect the gut. Nervous system stress, right? Again, we've all had this. We've all had stuff happen as a child. We've all had divorce or deaths or, right? There's always something. So we all could do a little bit more to pay attention to our nervous system. Hormonal shifts, which of course, as women, we have gone through all the hormonal shifts known to man. Immune burden. So if we've had some chronic infections, if we've had some untreated things happening in the past, if we have some autoimmune conditions, this is causing inflammation, right? So we need to look at all these things. Of course, dietary factors, but you see that the diet is only one part, right? Most people think it's all about the diet, but really it's one tiny piece amongst all the root causes. So gluten, seed oils, right? Not enough fiber, under eating, crash dieting. I think as women, we've all done all the crazy diets and we've really learned to under eat, which is a big part of the problem. And then lifestyle stressors, right? Staying up all night, working out too much, eating while you're stressed, smoking, drinking too much, all that good stuff. Then we have our environment. Do you have mold in your house? Have you been exposed to heavy metals? Have you eaten a lot of food with a lot of pesticides and herbicides? Do you use a lot of plastic? Are you exposed to a lot of fragrance? And microbiome imbalance, right? So just some kind of imbalance with the bacteria in your gut, which I've never seen a test of, I've done hundreds of these. I've never seen a test where the microbiome was balanced, even in people that were just there for for like just bloating. It wasn't even like a, big grand thing that they were in for. I've never seen a test where the microbiome was balanced, including my own. So the scary truth about all of that is that each root cause has a different solution. So I am not going to take somebody who's been on PPIs for 20 years, acid blockers, and give them the exact same protocol as I would give someone who was born C-section, let's say, or whatever. You can pick any two things from off that previous screen, and I'm not going to give you the exact same protocol. Every protocol is based on what your root cause is. So if you don't know your root cause, how do you know your protocol? So what is the solution? Right? Like what would you want out of getting rid of your gut issues? Give me one word in the chat. Energy, joy, peace, hope. Like what one word comes to mind if you could get rid of all of your gut issues? Like what is that you want? And this is the solution after years and years of studying, learning, working with hundreds of women, figuring out what works and what doesn't. This is the Happy Belly pillars of health, the cinder blocks. This is what we do. This is the 12-step program that we go through. And at the end of it, your gut is now strong and able to take on anything. So conscious beginnings, we need to start in the right place. We need to have goals. We need to get your mindset in the right place. We need stillness and safety. Our bodies can't heal if we don't feel safe. So we need to instill safety in the body. Healing breath work. So this is going to be part of the routine because this is how we can get in the body to start releasing things that we're holding on to. So nourishment and flow, food and water, right? And most people think the food is the whole thing. You can see the food is really one or two of these cinders, and that's it. Digestible nutrients, giving your body nutrients that your body is able to break down and able to digest, and then filling the gaps. Fill the gaps with supplements, right? In today's society where our food is just so depleted, if you're not supplementing, I would probably guess that you are one of those 9 out of 10 people that aren't getting enough nutrients. But we can see exactly what you need. Healing the leaks, sealing up leaky gut. Because if you have gut issues, if you're alive in this world today, you probably have leaky gut. It's just a sad, unfortunate fact. So we need to heal and seal up that leaky gut. We do gut biome testing. This is how we know exactly what your causes of your issues are and exactly how to address them. The gut garden, we need to understand and balance your unique gut microbiome without guessing, without random probiotics. Take away all the trial and error, which never really fully works, and we see exactly how to balance your gut. Sacred cycles, so nervous system and hormone friendly rhythms, right? Working with the hormones. Rest and recalibrate, sleep, deep restorative sleep, and release and renew, gently clear toxins, stagnant energy, emotional buildup. So this is not a harsh detox. This is supporting your body in being able to detox daily. So this is the complete picture of what needs to be done to build your health home strong. So in the Happy Belly method, this is what you get over 16 weeks. So if all of that seems overwhelming and you don't really know how to start or how to do all of that for yourself, this 12-piece system, then that's where the Happy Belly method comes in, right? It's a system that has been put together specifically for women so that you can get results over the next 16 weeks. So you get a step-by-step plan, online plan. It's all laid out for you so you know exactly what to be doing step by step. You get professional support from me. I've been there. I have experienced what you're experiencing. I did it for myself and I've done it for hundreds of other women. We do the BiomeFX gut testing and you get your personalized protocol. You get a 30-day nutritional gut cleanse so we can cleanse those toxins out and give you all of your digestible nutrients so you can become that one person out of 10 that's getting all of their nutrients. personalized food plan and recipes all in the portal so you know what to be eating, and then a targeted supplement strategy based on your test. I also teach online movement classes, so you always have that appropriate exercise for you. You don't even have to leave your living room. And online breathwork sessions, so that we can start to balance and relax that nervous system. Your body can't heal when the nervous system is in fight or flight. So we really work on getting that nervous system to be able to get into rest and digest and heal as much as it can. That really speeds up that healing process. And then you also get a new bonus, which is a healing somatic session with my lovely assistant, Nicole. She does Reiki, she does breathwork. She really personalizes this session for you and can really help you sort of move and release things that you might be holding on to in your body. So you're at a crossroad. We've all been at a crossroad where you decide between two paths, right? So path one, you do nothing, keep using the band-aids, keep managing symptoms, spend more money, and then underneath things just keep getting worse because nothing is getting fixed. When I was at this crossroads, if I never decided to go down the path of learning how to address my own gut issues, there's no possible way that I would be hosting gut health retreats. I did it again. There is no way that I would be such a present mom for my kids who are now 25, but they still need me, right? And I'm much more present, much more happy, much more engaged with everyone in my life because I can be, right? I wouldn't be able to take long road trips with my husband if I was feeling like I was going to throw up every 2 seconds, right? I wouldn't be able to have this glowing skin that you just don't know how to appreciate what you have until it's gone. When I had terrible acne where I really some days would just sit in my house and cry and not even go out, having this skin that I have now is like I feel like it's such a blessing. I wouldn't be able to help all of the women that I'm helping if I still felt like shit all the time. Like I would not be able to be a support for anybody. And I certainly wouldn't have been able to hike up to Machu Picchu, which I did this year. And I stayed at the top of the mountain with villagers and ate their food. Like that would have been an impossible thing, right? So this is what we're doing this for. It's not just so you're not bloated, it's so you can live your life. Like that is why I'm so passionate because I want you to do all the things that you want to do, whatever would fill these boxes for many, many, many years. So you can let me guide you to bliss, from bloat to bliss, right? So this is where the happy belly method comes in with testing, a proven plan, and the right support. That's really all that you need. And I need to stop clicking the left side of the screen. So let me simplify the process so you can get results in just 4 short months instead of years of frustration. You do not have to do this alone, which is what so many women are doing. So like Jessica, she says, it's amazing. I'm already seeing improvement. After 2.5 years, I almost gave up. So this program really means a lot to me. She had been in and out of the emergency room in the fetal position, bawling her eyes out. And the doctors just kept sending her home. And this program completely turned her around because we built her health home. And then Karen, my client Karen, she had the most amazing results. There's an interview in the Facebook group with Karen. She lost 30 pounds and she's got RA. So this is really important for her joints. Her CRP, which if you know anything about inflammation, if you have any autoimmune disease, usually your inflammation, your CRP is really high. We were able to get her CRP the lowest it's ever been to 0.07. Under 1 is the goal. Her cholesterol dropped 60 points. She was completely able to get off all antacids that she had been on for 20 plus years. She had the energy to go do her pool aerobics again that she used to love to do. And a surprise thing that happened to her that she didn't even know was going to happen was that her lifelong eczema was completely gone. She texted me one day, months later, and she's like, I just realized that I have not had eczema since I started the program, and I used to have it my whole life. And then I just love keeping all these texts from clients. I feel more amazing today. It's the first day in years I have not woken up with a headache. Like, oh, can you imagine waking up every day with a headache? I cannot get over how wonderful I feel. My CRP levels fell from 17, like 17 is a crazy high CRP level. So much inflammation down to 3.75 in the last 6 weeks. That's just 6 weeks. No belly pain, not nearly as much bloating. Never in my life have I gone this long being regular. This was from a 52-year-old woman. She had never pooped every day of her life. Thanks again so much. I feel better than I felt in months after that. That was after her first breath work session. Better than I felt in months after one session. On the bright side, I've had a bowel movement nearly every day without Sensitivities. We do not want to be using laxatives, right? Your body's going to become dependent on it, and you actually won't be able to have regular bowel movements without it because you get lazy bowel. So she was able to get bowel movements without any Sensitivities that she'd been using for years. Stomach does not hurt all the time like it did. My protocol is almost done. It's totally helped. It's so wild. Thank you so much. Right? These are real texts from real clients after, right, in 4 months, like from a lifetime of suffering to results in under 4 months. So, if you want to talk about if this can help you, then you can scan this QR code on the screen, or Nicole will drop in the chat the link to book a call with me. I offer totally free phone calls. So we can just talk about what are your health goals? What have you tried in the past? What has worked? What hasn't? And what your next best steps are toward reaching your goals. Even if we don't work together, if it's not a perfect fit, then I could still help give you next best steps. So you can scan that code to book a call, click the link to book a call, and I am happy to always answer any questions. So you can always reach out to me on Facebook or via email. You can just respond to the emails that I sent to you if you have any questions about anything. And that being said, if you have questions for me, please drop them in the chat. And I'm going to have a drink of water and rest my voice. Any questions from anybody about anything you saw, anything I said that maybe didn't make a ton of sense? I see a lot of yeses in the chat. Carla would like the slides. Nicole, will you just mark that down for me so I remember? Thank you. Da, 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 da. I love seeing the scores. How did everybody do on your scores? Ooh, I see Win got a 4 somewhere in there. Good job.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Do you remember what it was?
Oh, it was the movement. We have a wonderful it's called Limitless Yoga Studio, and I've been going there for years, and sometimes I'm great about being uh there regularly. She just added probably in the last 6 months some Pilates reformers.
Ooh, I love
So
Pilates.
I can feel a big difference because I'm getting the muscle with the yoga, and that also helps bring my stress down. So, it's getting in shape and feeling better, and it's our community. So it's nice to just go in and, oh, hey, how's it going, Kelly? And oh, hey, so it's just all encompassing. So that's the one that I got the 4 on, because I found I've never liked to exercise, but
Some of us don't. Yeah.
yeah, so the HIIT class, don't worry about that with me. That's not going to be an
Not
issue.
gonna happen. Okay.
No. So I found my little community, and
I love that. That's amazing.
yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Mhm.
Some of these words here, I love freedom. That's really my word. That's the one word that always comes to mind with things like this is freedom. So when you don't have to worry about what your gut is doing, you have the freedom to do all the things that you want to do. Yeah, regularity, Carla, absolutely. Being regular is just, it's so vitally important. And it is just something I think we were never taught. The medical system doesn't talk about it. And once we can see what's going on in your gut, it's really we can, it's quite a simple fix most of the time.
Mhm.
Comfort. Yes, comfort. I love that. Feeling free. Absolutely. Beautiful. How much deep sleep is good? So, like I said, women need more sleep than men. And this is something that I just recently learned this last year. I did not know that. But, the 8 hour
Mm.
mark is there's a reason why they say 8 hours, but women usually need closer to nine, really.
Hmm.
Um, and especially if you're in any kind of a healing mode, your body really needs the most time it can get. So, when we talk about sleep, it's like there are so many it's a range, right? You could be in bed for 8 hours, but you're really not getting that deep sleep.
Mhm.
Maybe
Mhm.
you looked at your phone too close to bedtime. Maybe there's
Mhm.
some light in the room that's, we have light receptors in our skin. It could just be gently keeping you awake a little bit, just having light in
Mhm.
the room, things like that. So really keeping a good, they call it sleep hygiene, making sure a couple hours before your bed you start your sleep hygiene and then really have your room
Mhm.
um, so that you are getting that deepest sleep possible. So yeah, 8.5, 9 hours is really great for women. How do you help people that have current food sensitivities when building the protocol? Yeah, so we definitely want to avoid anything that is giving you trouble because there's a reason why your body doesn't like it. And we're going to find out the reason so that we can fix it, right? But we want to not eat anything that bothers you, and we want to add in anything that gives you nutrients that you can digest. So I use organic superfoods that are the healthiest foods on the planet. They're grown in mineral rich soil. They're grown away from other farms. So they don't even get glyphosate runoff from other farms, and they're all tested for glyphosate. So the easiest foods to digest, they're basically pre-digested. And they're going to give you the optimum amount of nutrients with the lowest amount of output from your body. So we want to give your body a break from digesting while getting the best nutrients. So I really give you this 30-day system where it replaces your breakfast and your lunch. And then all you have to worry about is making dinner. And we want to make a nice, easy to digest dinner, which are the recipes that I give you. So we're really kind of taking out the need to pick around all your foods when I kind of give
Mhm.
you that 30-day plan. And then when we see your your test, we can see like, oh, this is why this food is bothering you. We can see on the test because you don't have this bacteria to break it down. XYZ, right? So we we can see on your test how to build your gut back up so strong that you can now start digesting all those foods you couldn't digest before. I didn't eat gluten for 10, probably 12 years, and I can eat gluten now. I don't because I know that it can do damage to the gut. Whether you have gluten sensitivity or not, it can do damage to your gut. So I pick and choose carefully, and sometimes I'll have a good sourdough or whatever, but I can eat almost anything I want again without having any reaction because I've built the gut up strong. So we do the superfoods right out of the gate so that your body can get all your nutrients, and then we can slowly start maybe adding foods back in one at a time, testing them out, see how it goes. How do we repair the vagus nerve? So, yeah, great question. So, the vagus nerve runs from your brain and it kind of fingers down through your organs, and it's the way we, tell our brain that we're full. It's the way our brain
Mhm.
tells us that we're hungry, right? We have all of these messages that have to go back and forth, millions and millions and millions of messages, right? And so things like if we're eating at our computer at lunchtime and we're just working through lunch, then your brain is focused on your work and your brain is not telling your gut to get ready because food's coming.
Oh.
So
Mm.
the food is just going to sit in your belly. And then by the time you get to dinner, that food is still going to be in your belly. And then we
Wow.
wonder why we're bloated after dinner,
Huh.
right? So, so really thinking about what
Mm.
is my brain doing right now and am I helping my body? So
Mm.
not only focusing your brain on what you're eating so that your body gets ready. Yes, mindfulness exactly. So eating in a mindful state is so huge, but also how we communicate to ourselves. So our body is always listening to our thoughts. So for instance, if you think about like biting into a big juicy lemon, right? Think about it, picture it, what happens? Your saliva gets released, right? So that tells us that our body is always listening to our thoughts. Just thinking about biting into a
Mm.
lemon made the
Mm-hmm.
saliva come out, which makes the
Mm-hmm.
stomach acid and the enzymes come out.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to think about how are we talking to ourselves? Are we saying that we are lazy, that we are fat, that we are worth nothing, that we are right? Like, what are we thinking about ourselves? Our body is always listening, and then our brain will communicate that to our body. So, really being mindful of our thoughts. I have a section in the Happy Belly course called Words That Heal. So we can start reframing our words so that when our gut and brain are talking back and forth to each other, they have positive effects on the body and not negative effects on the body. We
Mm.
also need those neurotransmitters. So there are specific bacteria that make, for instance, GABA. You may have heard of GABA. It's a brain calming neurotransmitter. And what I see on a lot of tests is women are completely missing the bacteria that make GABA. So
Hmm.
it's no wonder why they have anxiety and insomnia and brain fog and all these things because they're not even making the messenger that
Mm.
is there to talk back and forth. So we replenish the bacteria, we start making GABA again, and all of a sudden our anxiety goes away and we can sleep, right? Nicole says the vagus nerve is very much tied to the nervous system as well. If something is off and your body doesn't feel safe, you will have trouble digesting. Absolutely. So here's a little fun thing too. Well, it's not fun, but it's interesting to know is that let's say when you were young and you ate this big bowl of strawberries and your mom came home and yelled at you, you were in big trouble and was screaming at you and you're eating this bowl of strawberries. Your body goes into fight or flight. You're now in a panic trauma mode. Your body doesn't know what the trigger was. It might have thought it was the strawberries. Then all of a sudden you can't, as an adult, eat strawberries. Is it the strawberries' fault? No, right? So people start to cut out all these foods, not realizing what the root of the problem is. And that food, you can probably digest it perfectly fine, but your gut told your brain that this is not a safe food. So there's so many ways that our gut and our brain can talk back and forth to each other. So breath work is my main modality in getting this connection to be not only strong connection, but what are we telling it to do, right? What is our subconscious telling our nervous system to do? Our subconscious, it goes back, from the time we're born. You've probably heard before that everything up until you're 7 is in your subconscious. So how do we get to our subconscious? We got to get out of the thinking mind and we got to get into the body. And we can do that with the breath. That's why the breath work is such an important piece. Carla, happened to me with tomatoes.
Mm.
Interesting. Do you want
Cherry tomatoes, yep, out of mom's garden, and I was sitting there picking them all and eating them all as I was picking them. And oh man, I got in so much trouble. She was so mad.
to really? And
And then
then,
for the longest time, I could not eat tomatoes. I would break out in hives, and they'd make me itch. And now I grow tomatoes and eat them right and left, and I'm fine with them now. But yeah.
wow, that is so interesting, right?
Mm.
Yeah, so that's just a nervous system thing. It has nothing to do with the food. It has nothing to do with, whether your gut is working well or not. That's just 100% nervous system. So that's why this gut health is like such an intricate, interesting thing that needs so much more understanding from our medical community. I listen to a gut health podcast every single day when I go out and walk my dogs, and I learn something new every single day. There's just so much to learn. So I love that you shared that with us. Thank you. To be able to go with our gut, we need to, yes, good
Hmm.
point. To be able to go with our gut, we need to ensure it's performing optimally. Ooh, that is, thank you, Deanne. I might write that down. Yeah, so when people say like go with your gut, go with your gut, what is your gut trained to be thinking? And so sometimes we take these things from childhood. Like if, someone told you you were too much or you were too lazy or you're too loud or you're too something, we take that with us and now we're holding it in our body and we're holding it in our gut. And
Mm.
we can now, as adults that know better, we can start to work on letting some of these things go so that our bodies can really work properly. Yeah, that's a good one. It takes practice to retrain it, and there are so many layers to consider. Yeah, so mainly what Nicole does is she does somatic work. So somatic is body, like where we're holding things in the body, and there are so many layers. Yeah, so I have added one session with Nicole to the program because I just think that's such an important piece. Communication along the vagus nerve has more traffic from gut to brain than brain to gut. Yeah, so they started calling the gut the second brain. And now people are really saying, well, it actually is more of a brain than the brain in our head. There's actually more communication from the gut. So that just goes to show you if you have gut issues, what is happening to that communication, right? If we have breakdown in the way the gut is functioning, so much of that communication is going to be hindered. Yeah, thank you, Deanne. I love this conversation. That's why for a long time I was doing these on just live into Facebook, but then we don't get this beautiful interaction. So thank you all for coming and interacting. I hate to feel like I'm just talking to myself. So this is wonderful. Does anybody have any other questions? Oh, and if you haven't commented yet, please comment so that Nicole can send you the free gift, which is something that it may seem like a silly little thing, but it's so impactful. It's my 15 favorite gut healing soup recipes, including my bone broth recipe.
Mm.
If you have not made bone broth yet, it's just so much more magical that when you make it at home than it is when you buy it in the grocery store. And it's so fast. I'm telling you, it only takes like 5 minutes. But when I'm talking about foods that are easy to digest, that don't make your body do a lot of work, soups. Like soups are your body's best friend. So, with the superfood company that I use, we give you breakfast and lunch. And then if you make like a nice, hearty, just easy to digest soup for dinner, like, oh, your body will just be in heaven. So if you commented, then you will get my soup booklet recipe. Does the testing include how your gut is processing digesting hormones? Amanda, great question. Yes. So this is actually one of my most fascinating things. There is a group of bacteria called the astrobolome, and it is a group of bacteria that is specifically there. The body just fascinates me. It is specifically there to either recirculate your estrogen or have you poop it out. And so it is always trying to judge how much estrogen you have in your body and how much you need. So it will decide, should we recirculate it or should we poop it out? So this system is fascinating. It can get hindered by not having proper bowel movements. We can recirculate too much estrogen back into the body if we're not pooping enough out. It can be hindered by not having enough of that estrobolome bacteria. You might be missing some of it. So now your estrogen recycling is totally off. So there's a lot of factors that go into how you are recycling your estrogen properly. But the gut and the hormones are like, I mean, they're like peanut butter and jelly, right? Like one affects the other just inherently. So yeah, there's a lot of that we can see. Let's see. Da, da, da. Oh, hi, Sylvia. I didn't say hi to you. Thank you, Deanne. You have a great evening too. Amanda, thank you. Well, that was lovely, everybody. Thank you so much for showing up for yourself and just for this lovely conversation. So, like I said, you can feel free to book a call. If you just feel called and you want to get signed up ASAP, like right now, Nicole just dropped the link on how to work with me. So you could click that. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, Win. So lovely, everybody. Thank you so much. I hope you have the best evening. And if you have any questions about any of this, please, please, please always reach out to me. I'm here for you whenever you need me. Thank you, Sylvia. Thank you, Carla. Yes, and we will be sending the repay soon. Bye, everybody.